we're gonna get the dinner started here in just a few moments. And I just want to, welcome you, and I really am so grateful that you're attending Chef's Table with us. It's an incredible event, and a lot of people work very hard on this event, and you're about to enjoy, hands down, the best dinner that you get all night. You're in for a real treat tonight. Oh, all day, all year, probably in your lifetime. You're in for a real treat tonight because we're doing something a little extra special. Tonight the meal is inspired by family recipes and family memories by each and every one of these chefs. So right before the dinner gets plated, they're gonna come up on stage and share with you the story behind each dish. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm really grateful on behalf of Just Food for your financial support tonight. So thank you.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. I know Liz has been a gracious host and told you that already. So the theme of this dinner was family recipes. I guarantee you that this is not an actual family recipe that my family's ever made because it's pretty weird. I was thinking about, for me, what I grew up eating and like what my family cooked. And I wasn't super inspired by it. So like I started thinking about experiences that I shared with my family that I thought were inspiring. My grandfather was stationed in Japan for 10 years. My dad lived there for 10 years. So at a young age, we were introduced to that cuisine. I remember the very first time I had octopus, and I was like 6. And it blew my mind. I was like, this is the chewiest, weirdest thing ever. Like, who would ever want to eat this? But then over time, like, technique and education, like, I fought with this dish for a long time to get it to hopefully be much more pleasant than the first time I ever had it. Took a lot of work, but I think I got there, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for coming.
There's a good part and there's a bad part. Which one want to hear first? All right. The bad part was when I was growing up, my mother could not boil water or make toast. She was a horrible cook. God rest her soul. So here comes the inspiration for my dish. Every Sunday when I was growing up, we had a patio picnic. My father made it very clear that he loved salmon. He also loved gin and tonics. My mother took it upon herself to make a dish that we had on the patio every Sunday for the first 9 years of my life. During the summer, bed of lettuce, hard-boiled eggs that smelled like sulfur, super sweet pickles, and canned salmon. So if any of you have had Thanksgiving dinner with a cranberry sauce that comes out like a log, okay, imagine that being salmon with bones running throughout. I can't put that memory down ever. However, the fact that my dad loves salmon, he never, ever said how horrible this meal was. We have it every Sunday. So, thank you very much for coming out.
This is a dish that we ate for breakfast a lot growing up at my grandparents' house. My grandma Galvez would make New Mexico red chili pork shoulder, and she'd make like hand-pressed tortillas. And this is just a riff off that. Mom, I hope you enjoy this dish. I ate it earlier today. It tastes like grandma's pork, so it's really good. Thank you.
It gets really loud really fast. All right, duly noted. I've been living in Lawrence since about 2003. I came up here to pursue a degree in French, of all things. Most of which I've forgotten in lieu of kitchen Spanish at this point. My mother was first generation Indian. She was born in Bombay, spent most of her life in northern India. This is sort of a mishmash dish of the southern Indian, the northern Indian, the central Indian dishes that I was raised around. My mother, bless her heart, was definitely not a good Hindu or Muslim. She ate a lot of beef and a lot of pork, as do I. One of her favorite things to prepare was chicken and also potatoes. We have aloo masala, which is pretty straightforward Indian food. Chittanad fried chicken, which comes from southern India. And then dhania ki chutney, layman's terms if you don't speak Hindi, would be cilantro chutney. On top of that, there's a little bit of this little spice mix that my mom always used to have just out, just like peanuts on a coffee table or something like that. It's called aloo bhuja. It's total Indian fast food trash. It's great. Basically, it's just like flash fried potato noodles that are dusted in a whole bunch of delicious seasonings, and then some green onion as well and some lemon juice. So I hope you all enjoy. Thank you so much.
Hello. Okay, so big surprise, I'm making sausage. It's a kielbasa sausage that my grandmother used to make, and she used to make sauerkraut, and she used to make her own wine, and she would cook these big jugs of wine down, and then cook the kielbasa in there, and then make her own mustard and sauerkraut and stuff. So anyway, very close to home. But and it's paired with a beautiful beer from LBC, and thanks Ken Baker for just being awesome and an inspiration, So yeah, it's a Kolsch. It's not too hoppy. It should complement the kind of the fattiness and some of the mustard and it's our house-made sauerkraut too. So we do everything in house. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you all. I was super excited to get invited here. A little bit about my dish. So it's actually a Hungarian goulash dumpling. I grew up very Hungarian, very Italian. I grew up with this dish, I would say once a week. And so this is kind of my variation on it. You'll have braised beef and tomato. You'll have this beautiful wine with it, which kind of gives these smoky notes. So I hope you all enjoy it. And yeah, bon appetit. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good to be with you all. We're on the home stretch here. Christmas beef tenderloin. So my mom, she came up cooking for the family a lot right around the big Food Network boom, and it got really intense in the kitchen in our house, and the cookbooks were just coming in everywhere, left and fucking right. It was crazy. So the other thing she got into, which was really cool, was Junior League cookbooks. So she used to collect Junior League cookbooks from Denver, San Francisco, Kansas City. And we put together this huge Christmas dinner out of recipes from Junior League cookbooks. And so this is my homage to my mother, best cook in the world, for teaching me everything I know and for making sure that this was always on the table every Christmas.
I'm Joni Alexander, farmer, now married. It's okay, it's fine. I was not raised in a kitchen. I was not taught any recipes from my family whatsoever. I have fond memories of my great-grandparents. They have a farm out in Iowa. When I was very young, we would go out there, and I was the only child with no siblings, so I was very bored. But I watched my little grandmother, who was about this tall and very German. I will speak much louder. I saw my little grandmother, great-grandmother, running around, and she was cooking, and she was doing all these things, and she was bossing everybody around, and she didn't tell me at all how to cook. All the stuff she was cooking. But she had these beautiful linens and this napkins and stuff like this, and so that's why each of you has a napkin that was laid down on your table. I want you to take that with you at the end of the night, okay? Just as a keepsake. It is an ode. It's an ode to my great-grandparents, okay? But to tie it back for tonight the theme is family recipes, and I obviously don't have any. So when I was thinking about this dinner, I was like, what can I do? How does this relate to me? And as I got older, I taught myself how to cook. I started my family. I started writing my own recipes, and then it dawned on me when I was talking with my husband that all the recipes that I've been writing are what's going to go to my children and their children, and so on and so forth. So this is what I have made for you tonight is something that I love to make, that I can't wait to show my daughter how to make, and her children, my son, these things that I love to share with all of you as well. So we have strawberry shortcake, a little bit of creme fraiche, and there's mint leaves that will be flying, and hopefully it tastes good. So thank you.
It just occurred to me that I never introduced myself. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Keever. I have the honor of being the executive director of Just Food. We'll get to that later. I really loved that tonight's theme was family recipes because it really embodies everything we do as an organization. Because every single day at Just Food, we use food as the tool and the starting point and the launching pad and the leverage to empower families that we serve every single day. So Family Recipes is all about that. It's all about bringing people together, sharing in memories, celebrating, and connecting with one another. So I love that this is the theme tonight because it resonates with everything we do. And when I think about my family recipes and my experiences with food, it was all about celebration. And tonight, we have a lot to celebrate about Just Food. In fact, we have a birthday to celebrate. It is Just Food's 10th year anniversary as an organization. In those past 10 years, we have gone from the basement of the United Way building to be the main food bank and food pantry of Douglas County, serving over 13,000 Douglas County residents a year. In 10 short years. But in 10 years, we didn't stop at that because that's not our style, okay? So we need to continue this fight. We need to continue to the next 10 years to not only address hunger today, but to create and continue to innovate programs that address the root causes and solve hunger tomorrow. So I ask you to continue to join us in the fight. Help us be leaders and innovators in this community and continue to be involved in the next 10 years. So thank you so much for being a part of our growth as an organization. Thank you for celebrating our birthday as an organization, and I'm so grateful to have you here.